Hi, everybody. Welcome to the FOMCA Moments for January 2022. It's hard to believe that we're in 2022. And thank you to the Madison County Public Library for hosting this session of FOMCA Moments. I'm here with my colleagues and fellow board members, Jenny Honeycutt and Pia Cash. Pia Cash is also, we introduced her in a previous FOMCA Moments, but it's been a while since she's joined us, but she is our program and volunteer coordinator for FOMCA, and she has been very busy with outreach and coordinating events for FOMCA, and we've had a very busy and successful 2021. So this session is devoted towards sharing some of our success stories from 2021, as well as expressing some needs and hopefully getting the word out to the community for how you can help us continue our good work in the community for residents of Madison County and their pets.
So yeah, we were able to do quite a few things in 2021. We were able to reduce the number of homeless pets by spaying and neutering 724 animals, including free roaming cats through our trap neuter return program. That is a lot of animals. Prevent owners from having to give up their pets by providing vet vouchers to 46 pets in need of urgent veterinary care. Helping feed pets of families facing temporary hardship. And we provided 4,100 pounds of dog and cat food through our pet food pantry. Again, that's a lot of pets that were able to get fed through that. That's amazing. We were able to provide 193 doses of free flea and tick preventative to pets in need. And we're going to talk a little bit later about our free roaming Feline 5 program.
So thank you, Madison County, for all your support. So one of our programs is the Vet Voucher program, and I'll let Pia talk a little bit more about that. And the photo is of a sweet little puppy, a success story of a Madison County resident and her baby boy there, her puppy, who benefited from those funds.
Yeah, so the Friends of Madison County Animals Vet Voucher Program, as you saw in the past slide, we were able to provide vet vouchers for 46 animals in 2021. And basically how it works is if you know your pet has experienced an urgent or emergency medical problem and you can't afford to take them to the vet, you can give us a call and see if you qualify for our vet voucher program. And there's a capped amount that we can provide to help you cover the medical bill. Usually when people are reaching out to us, like with this little guy, Bear, he needed to have a surgery for a mass, and the owner was able to cover some of the bill, but not the entire bill. So we were able to jump in and cover the rest so that she was able to get the surgery for Bear. Yeah, so if you're in need of veterinary assistance, you're welcome to give us a call. At our contact information is at the end to see if we can help you out. And this is also a very important program that we fundraise for and write grants for all the time because the need is never ending as vet care has gotten more expensive and people are facing more hardships due to COVID and whatnot. So
yeah, and I love it. Usually too, we ask for residents who benefit from this service to provide maybe a photo and just a quote like the one below the photo there. Bear is my sweet and loving baby boy. Lynette shared with us, there's so much I can say about him. He is wonderful. And though I may think he's the best, most everyone loves him too. And if you knew him, you would also. And I just want to give a shout out to Lynette for sharing that with us, because it just really helps us to get success stories, because oftentimes grantors, when we write grants to try to get funds for this, they ask for success stories. So if you have a sweet animal that you love so much that may be suffering from illness or injury, and you think that you need some assistance and you could qualify for this, please reach out to us. This is another FOMCA story. Bella. Bella is a spunky little pug, watches over the neighborhood, barks away any and all intruders who might decide to enter her territory. She alerts her family as well as all of the neighbors when anyone drives down the dead end road, including delivery trucks. She is really the sweetest little dog you. So Pia, can you tell us about Bella? What was her issue and how were we able to help?
Yeah, Bella is not the typical farm dog because she's a pug, but she is a farm dog, and she would hop in the truck with her dad and ride around the farm, and was involved in all the work around the farm. And one day she jumped up into her truck and she slipped and she fractured her elbow and had to be in a cast for 10 weeks. And again, that's a pretty extensive medical bill, and the owner was able to provide some of the care, but we jumped in to help make sure that she was able to get that treatment, and she was back to her spunky little self once that cast came off.
So sweet. So we share these success stories also to send out a message that, you know, we have a wish list and we are in constant need of donations, you know, support to be able to continue our work. And we want to celebrate the new year. We had a very successful 2021, and we would love your help to continue our good work for the animals of Madison County. And with that being said, we do have a wish list, and we also want to say that not everybody is able. It's hard times for a lot of folks with COVID, transitions between, you know, jobs. Many people have lost their jobs, and we totally get it. We also know that the new year is oftentimes a time when people may be cleaning out. You know, cleaning out your shed, barn, and there may be things that you have that you wouldn't realize that FOMCA could really use to help the people in the community. So Jenny, if you jump in and some of these things.
So when you're looking here are some things that we can use. Dog houses must be able to be moved by 1 to 2 people easily. Plastic cat carriers, plastic dog crates, wire dog crates, medium to extra large, fencing materials in good condition, metal T-posts of any height, welded wire or field fencing, wood or metal posts, gates with or without hardware, chain link panels, either individual panels or entire chain link kennels, and humane live animal or have a heart traps for the TNR.
Thank you, Jenny. And then just in case you need some images, if you're like me, I appreciate pictures of these materials. I know, like, I was able to pick up a few of the cat carriers at yard sales or you know, Habitat for Humanity, Goodwill, and donate them to FOMCA. And Pia, do you want to explain the live traps? We've talked quite a bit about those when we talk about feral cats.
Yeah. So this trap is just one example of many live traps that you can pick up at like Tractor Supply. People use them to trap raccoons and, you know, other pests in their yard. We actually use those traps to trap feral cats and feral cat colonies, transport them to spay neuter safely, and then return them to their colony. So this is, a lot of people don't know that that's the kind of trap that we use. And that's something that I think a lot of people might have in the back of a garage gathering dust that they haven't used in a while. So I wanted to kind of explain that is a trap that we definitely have a need for. So if you have one that you're not using anymore, we would love that donation. from you. And dog houses, we obviously want to take any dog houses that we can that are in good condition. The really, really heavy wooden ones can be challenging for us to move, but these plastic ones, even though they don't provide as much insulation on their own, stuffed with straw, they do great. And so we happily will take any old dog houses that you have that you're not using anymore. And then there's just some picture of like some of the fencing supplies that we use. We're happy to take used fencing supplies as long as they're still, strong enough to be reused and in decent condition. As we all know, everything's cost a little bit more nowadays than it did a couple years ago, and fencing costs, metal costs have gone up. So we appreciate any fencing donations as well.
Absolutely. And as we're talking about fencing materials, I know that we've talked a lot about in past sessions, feral cats and the free roaming feline 5, but given that it's winter is finally upon us, I was beginning to wonder if we were ever going to see snow in December, but it is finally here. So with the temperatures dropping and colder weather, we really encourage you to bring your animals inside, or at least evaluate your animal's home if it is an outside dog or cat. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. It is extremely important to make sure that they have fresh water. And then, to be sure that the house is insulated. I know I've learned a lot through my work at FOMCA, that blankets, a lot of people think blankets are great, but they don't work so well when they freeze. And the best insulation is straw. And Pia, what did you tell me about the straw, about how to layer it in the house?
So straw, not hay, because hay is also something that people try to use, but hay actually attracts moisture and holds it. But straw stays dry and keeps the house dry. And the best way to put it into a dog house is to, obviously put a layer on the floor and then kind of pack it into the corners and pack it up the sides of the dog house. And it creates that layer of insulation for the pet to kind of curl up in and get, reap the benefits of the extra warmth.
And while, this conversation is kind of pointedly toward helping your pet stay dry and warm, I also want to bring up something that we see a lot of, giving an animal as a gift. And a gift of a pet is a lifetime commitment. So we see these situations where, a neighbor's dog has puppies, and their neighbor down the street, might have had a dog to pass away, or, another situation, maybe rehomed or whatever. And it's it seems to be a good idea at the time to give the puppy as a gift. But then, as time progresses, maybe the person is experiencing some financial hardship, or maybe the person just is not healthy enough to kind of keep up with the animal. And then you see a situation where the animal doesn't really have an adequate housing outside, might be like the dog in the picture, tethered to a chain. And to me, that's just heartbreaking. And so I really feel a calling to kind of get the message out there that, if anyone in the community maybe watches this, and maybe, if you do watch this and somebody that, maybe doesn't have access to internet or is not watching this and who might benefit from hearing this, if anything is preventing you from getting the necessary materials, the straw, housing that is adequate to make your pet healthy and dry and warm in the wintertime, please reach out to FOMCA, and we will hear your individual story, and we will try to do what we can to help the situation. And we do want to share some success stories in this area. We, like Pia said, we're always actively looking for donations and writing grants, such as this case. So Pia, tell us a little bit about this story.
Yeah, this is just an example of a situation where someone actually acquired a few dogs, but not necessarily, they didn't necessarily go out and get it for themselves, but family members maybe got a puppy and it grew up too big. And so this is the story about Shirley, who ended up with 5 dogs, and really, young active dogs, and really didn't have the capability of taking them out on a leash to go potty. And so while the dogs come in and out of her home, while they're outside, they had to be tethered. And it was honestly dangerous. I visited her home a couple times, and the dogs are running around her, tripping her. She's elderly. And so we saw a real need, and Shirley's been a client of ours and utilized our pet food pantry and spay neuter program, and really wants to do the best for these dogs. So we decided to build a fence for Shirley right before Christmas. And so the first step was going out there and measuring the space, making sure she had space for this fence. And then we had volunteers come out on 2 different days. The first day we went out and dug holes and set fence posts, which is this photo right here, to make sure that the fence is strong and holds up. And then the second day we completed the fence by stringing the wire fencing around the fence posts and driving in the T-posts, and then we hung the gate. So here's a picture of
I'm sorry.
the fence from far away. You can kind of see the little guy on the right hadn't been neutered yet. So he is actually on a runner, which is, gives him more ability to run back and forth until his neuter appointment, where he could then join the other dogs in the pen. And here is a photo of the 3 that we're very excited to be able to run around in there when we finish it that day. Luckily, we had nice weather. And then one of them, actually, she had just recently acquired, and we were able to reach out to Mountain Pet Rescue, and they were willing to take that pup into their foster program. And so she went ahead and rehomed that one, which was a good decision for her because she had her hands. These are sweet dogs. They very well cared for. They just, they were getting into trouble. They were running off to neighbors' properties, and animal control was getting called on them. So we were really happy to give them a safe space to run and play with each other.
I love that story, and I'm so glad that we were able to help. And not just dogs. We're also actively working on building cat shelters. We covered one of these stories with FOMCA working with Girl Scouts to build the cat shelters. But Pia, this was a different situation. Tell us a little bit about this one.
Yeah, so the ASPCA Spay Neuter Alliance, that does all of our spay neuter surgeries, and a great partner that we love working with, reached out about hosting a cat shelter build. They typically do this once a year. And so 3 FOMCA staff members and 1 volunteer headed down to West Asheville, and we spent a beautiful day putting together like almost 50 of these.
Wow.
And there were volunteers there from Brother Wolf and Blue Ridge Humane Society. And we all worked together to knock that out in like under 4 hours. And each rescue group was able to take shelters back with them. So we have some of these in our office available. If you are feeding outdoor free roaming cats and they don't have like a warm barn or a good place to get warm, please reach out to us, and you are welcome to come pick up 1 or 2 of these shelters if that will help keep them safe and dry this winter.
Okay, so we're busy, and we're going to continue this good work in the new year. So toward the end of our talk here, I just want to give a shout out again to remind folks about the free roaming Feline 5 program. There is an incentive pay of $5 for residents to trap and bring their ferals in for spay and neuter, but let me caution you and make sure I'm very clear. You must call the FOMCA office to be added to the list. So please, and that is true for any of the items that we've talked about in today's talk. If you have a donation you would like to make, please call ahead of time. If you are interested in the cat shelters, please call, let us know ahead of time that you're coming so that we know to expect you. But we appreciate Petco for providing the funds to support our free roaming Feline 5 program. And to wrap things up.
Yep. So if you've got questions and if we can help you in any way, then please give us a call at the number provided there. Or if you're interested in doing any volunteering, or have materials to donate, and that is our address. We can be found on Blennerhassett Island in Marshall or at FOMCA.org.
All right. Thanks. Have a good month. We'll be back in touch soon.